on the Million Dollar Babes YouTube channel. Today we're talking about business wisdom for soul-driven entrepreneur creatives, spiritual badasses. And as I wait for you guys to hop on here, I want to discuss kind of my own journey to kind of share something really vulnerable that may be really helpful and useful to you. So 14 years ago, when I started my main YouTube channel, the Universe Guru YouTube channel, I did not know anything about like business as far as online business. I had a business in my past, my real estate business, in which I was quite successful. However, I didn't think I was starting a business. I was just starting a YouTube channel. And eventually, so I started the YouTube channel in January of 2011. In 2016, I became a life coach. In 2017, I launched my first digital product, which made me feel more like a business. And basically, I was just following my heart. I was doing what I wanted to do. I was creating what I wanted to do. I was responding as a human design projector to invitations that I was getting from my audience. But I wasn't thinking in terms with business strategy. In 2024, last year, I went through this period of uncertainty in my business. I started questioning whether I needed to have a strategy, whether I wanted to pivot, whether I needed to rebrand. And through this journey, I ended up signing up for a whole bunch of business containers. And not all the containers I signed up for. I signed up like 14 containers in 2024 alone. I've spent over $1 million on my inner work and education and personal development, but like 2024 was like heavy on the business stuff. And I thought that having all these business coaches would make me more certain. It actually made me more uncertain because I was not used to a world where you like think things from the mental plane. I have been a creative. I have been a soul-driven spiritual entrepreneur. I did whatever my heart said. You know, I did things that were responses to invitations that my audience made. And so because of that, I wasn't used to you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. Or if you don't do it this way, then, people will be mad or no one's going to buy or da 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 da, all this stuff. And it started sending me into all kinds of like rigid strategy. And I found myself more confused in 2024 regarding business than any other time in my entire life with the multiple businesses I've had, all of them successful. And it wasn't until I really like took a step back and I'm like, what is going on over here? I'm signing up for these containers that are making me super confused, super anxious, super like feeling like I'm doing it all wrong. And I started just like sitting in my own frequency again. And once I started sitting in my own frequency and really journaling on this, the answers started coming from within. And one of the biggest things I learned and was reminded of is that if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? Like my thing with business was never to make the most amount of money I could make. I love money and I want you to make money and I want to make money. But that was not like the goal, right? I started this business, when we became financially independent. So the point wasn't like, how can we survive using this money? The point wasn't like, we need this money. It was like, I get to share my divine wisdom, my medicine with the world. And of course, a natural byproduct of that will be money, right? The other thing that came through is that I'm thinking of this in long-term legacy. I want my children to inherit my business. I want my children to inherit my intellectual property, my IP, right? My digital assets. And so saying that you have to do it this way makes me want to shoot myself and never want to do anything like this ever again. And that does not have an element of longevity in it. So I'm not saying that those business coaches were incorrect, but me knowing me and me knowing that this is a passion project and this is something that I do from the overflow of my soul, that I'm not going to be able to sustain this if it feels miserable. or if I'm doing something that I don't want to do, or I'm doing something that feels like a 9 to 5 freaking job versus the art of my soul. And so I can't, like, I really like spent months like sitting on this, journaling on this, contemplating it, feeling into it, healing through it, only to come back to doing it the way that my soul wants to do it. And I'm not saying I didn't learn different aspects from each of those containers. I did. I did. There were little bits that I got from here and little bits I got from here and little bits of, and they are probably integrating and improving my transmissions, my work, my art, my riffs, my frameworks. However, I don't believe that there is a one size fits all, that you have to do it this way. If I was to pick one, for me, my one rule would be make sure that it's aligned with my personal values. Like if there was a rule, if I was like forced into giving the one big framework, this would be it. Choose something that aligns with your personal values, because when it's aligned with your personal values, there's longevity, there's legacy. It's something that you can see yourself doing in the long term. It's legacy. And so this is something that we want to be creative with, careful with. There are people that are just starting a business. I've met those people. So let's think of like business categories or business flavors, okay? So there's like the business flavor of, I hate my 9 to 5 job. I want to work for myself. I want to have a business. And I want to automate as much as possible. And I want to work as less as humanly possible. And I want to make money from it. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you desire. Welcome, Feminine Rose. Welcome to Million Dollar Babes membership. Happy to have you here. If that's what you desire, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there's other flavors of business as well. There's another flavor. So let's think of flavor number 2. Flavor number 2 is that I'm going to start a business, get it as successful as humanly possible in the shortest amount of time, and then I'm going to sell that business. That's a flavor of business. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as that's what you want. Now, that business is going to look very different than the other types of businesses. Because when you want to sell a business, there's an element of like less of you being in it. Because, like, for example, if I was to try to sell my business, it's all me. Like, if you remove me from my business, there's no business. I don't think you guys, like, I think you guys would notice if I was suddenly replaced, right? Be like, where's Mina? So if you were creating that kind of a business, it would be structured differently. The energetics of it would be different. The flavor of business that I desired and have created is very different than those two businesses. My business is my art. So when I'm approaching my business, I'm not thinking of, how can I work less? I'm thinking, how can I enjoy what I'm doing more? When I'm thinking of my business, I'm not thinking, how can I remove myself from it? I'm thinking, how can I be more in it? How can I be more authentically me? How can it be more a expression of my soul, of my divinity, of my greatest legacy and passion on this planet, right? When I'm thinking of my business, I'm not thinking, how can I make this the best strategy ever? Or how can I make it, I don't know, whatever, like, I can't even tap into that energy fully because that's so not me. I'm like struggling to even give you examples. So with my business, it's like what is actually authentic with me is what you see. If I'm going through like messy things, you get the messy things. If I'm going through, big up levels and 10x shifts, that's what you get. If I'm getting a period of, I'm just going to rest and digest and normalize this, that's what you get. Because it is the manifested expression of my art that my soul is creating. And so when I engage with business coaches or containers where they're speaking to people that want to automate everything, work as less as possible, and just collect the paycheck. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm not going to feel alive into it. So for example, when people like try to teach containers of like how to automate 30 days of content. First of all, that would make me want to stab myself in the eyeball. Secondly, I would be bored out of my freaking mind because I would like have all this fun in the beginning of it and then not have fun when I'm having to do content I don't want to do. And then what am I supposed to do for the rest 29 days when transmissions come through and downloads come through? What am I supposed to do? Not do them? That's like saying to someone creating art, right? Like, let's think of Taylor Swift or your other favorite musician. Like, you have to write all the next 5 songs right now and automate them. Is that going to be their best work? Is that really going to be like the expression of their soul? Maybe the first song will be great. What's going to happen with the rest of the 4 that you forced out of them? And then what if later on they have another soul coming through because they went through something, a breakup or whatever? And then are they not supposed to create the song then? Because they have all these other songs out, like, in the pipeline. And so understanding that if you resonate with being a soul-driven entrepreneur, creative, multi-passionate, a lot of that business advice is not going to apply to you. Now, are there elements of automating my business that I do? Yes, because there's parts of business that I don't enjoy, and using digital technology, I'm able to automate them so I can do this. This is what lights me up. Riffing, transmissions on YouTube, and then teaching inside my courses, high level calibration mentorship, like this is what lights me up. So am I automating certain things? Yes. But if you told me like that I have to like batch produce my content, automate all of that, and like take myself away from my business, that would make me sad because I enjoy making content. I enjoy opening and expanding my voice every day, showing up on here or my other channel or in my courses, right? Like this is like, it's healing the planet, but it's also healing me to show up and share my raw, divine, feminine expression of my soul. Welcome to Million Dollar Babes, Spiritual Queen. Happy to have you here. And so being discerning in, okay, what kind of advice is this for? Like, who is this for? So if the business courses that I have, I attract people that are spiritual entrepreneurs like myself. They're creatives, they want to create art, they want to do what I'm doing, right? They don't necessarily want to batch produce a year of content. They don't want to remove themselves from their business completely. They have seasons where they're working less because they might be pregnant or giving birth or whatever, right? Welcome, Christian. I saw some of you guys on my other channel. I was just on the Universe Guru channel, riffing on there, and then I'm like, let me come on here. And here we are. And so what's coming up as you're hearing this? I want this my transmit and riff best when people are like kind of like adding to the flavor and the conversation. Being a projector, a 4/6 human design projector. So if something's coming up, feel free to join the membership and put it in the chat. Also, if you're watching this in the replay, put it in the comments and I'll do future transmissions based on your cues. What's coming up for you? What kind of a business do you desire? And again, this isn't about one is wrong and one is right. It's just about what do you actually desire? Like, what is it that lights you up? Feminine Rose said, I had a folk art paintings business in addition to my therapy and coaching business, sold the former to a friend last December. I set it up in a way that I still get a cut out of the commission. Beautiful, beautiful, right? And so it's a different model. And so sometimes what can happen is when we're joining these groups or business coaches or taking advice, unless that advice is catered to what you want to do, there's going to be confusion. Like I know I was confused because people were like, a lot of my mentors were like, you can't live stream on YouTube. And I was like, why not? They're like, no, 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 you can't be giving away your medicine. You can't be giving away all of this content for free. I'm like, why not? Well, who's going to buy your courses? That should be in your courses. And the thing is, I've never had a problem selling courses. In fact, strangely enough, the more that I give, the more people buy my courses. So it wasn't sitting right with my heart. And I took a break and I was sharing less and I felt icky. I felt like it's like you place a coloring book and crayons in front of someone and say, you can't color. And they really want to color. And you're like, nope, you can't color. But they really want to color. And so we want to make sure that what we're doing is matching the desire. I want to focus on building a trauma-informed relationship and coaching business because that's what I live for. Amazing. I love that. Love, love, love that. Christian said, yes, there is a lot of marketing towards mass producing, but it has a cheap feel in a way. Yes. And here's the thing. Let me tell you guys this. It's been coming through so strongly for me. As we move into the wonderful world of AI, so many benefits of having AI. One of the things that's going to happen is there's going to be even more mass production of cheap, easy content, of cookie cutter content, of like mediocre content, of content that blends into the everything else, like beige content. It's kind of like just like everything else. And as we move into that, the people that are the mad scientists, spiritual, visionary, innovator, creatives like us, the multi-passionates, the people that can take raw ingredients from different disciplines and make something that's never been created, our work is gonna shine even more. It's gonna be a fresh breath. It's gonna be life-changing for people that are like, oh, what's all of this is just blending into the next. And people who want something that's fast and easy and cheap, they get to have that. But that's not how I live my life. That goes against my personal values. Again, not right or wrong, just different. Just different. My personal values are about legacy, are about creating from the depth of your soul. They're based on family, faith, education, personal development, evolution, growth over a lifetime. There's a embodiment in there. There's resilience, there's grit, creativity that has a very different flavor. And so I'm not looking to mass produce 30 reels today. I'm going to see what my soul conjures up tomorrow from the different embodiments and knowledge and emotions and things it's picking up from the field. I'm gonna like see what comes through instead of just like being a robot. Spiritual Queen, welcome to Million Dollar Babes. So as you're hearing this, put down the things that you have accidentally picked up that were never meant for you. It was never meant for you to be mass produced. It was never meant for you to automate your creativity. It was never meant for you to remove yourself out of your soul's work. In fact, if I was signing up with like hiring a business for whatever, whether it's an online business or someone actually coming into my house, do I really want to work with people that like remove themselves out of it, work as less as possible, like they want to not think about their business at all? Or do I want people that live and breathe the thing that they're creating? Who do I really want to hire? Do I want to hire people that are lit up by their soul's work? And I mean, I could be talking about painters or plumbers. Do you want someone that hates what they do, clock in, clock out, want to automate everything, can't wait till it's done? Or do you want to sign up with someone that's their soul's work? They wake up excited that they get to do that work every single day. Who would you naturally be moved towards? I cannot believe it when I go to restaurants, or this happens a lot at the hairdresser, where the people that working there, know that people are listening, and they're actively talking about how they hate their job, they can't wait until they get out of there. It just gives me an icky feeling, because all of a sudden I feel like my business is a burden there, that my business is not welcome, that my business it just energetically feels like wah, 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 versus someone that's like excited that you're there because yes, they get to create art. They get to do this thing. They get to go and show their medicine, their sacred work, whether it's like being an electrician or a painter or a plumber or a goddess or a therapist or a healer or a tarot oracle reader, right? Whatever the thing is, I want to work with people and be surrounded by people that are lit up. Which brings me to another important point. Let me take a sip of my tea. I think that it goes back to how you view work. What is your relationship with work? Because a lot of people have a twisted relationship with work. They don't want to do it. They hate what they do. They think that all they want to do is just like not work. But I have a completely different meaning of work. To me, work is what God designed. Like, that's the thing that my soul came here to do. It's the thing that's like the most raw, natural, fullest expression of my soul is my work. Now, I've had corporate jobs where I came in with that good attitude, did everything that was required of me and more, because that was me being in integrity to what I had agreed to do. I got a paycheck and they got what they agreed to, right? Whether I started off being in retail, and then I was a receptionist, then I was an office admin, and then I was a office manager. I've had different jobs and I showed up and I was in integrity, and there was elements of my essence in it. But my ultimate goal was to create work that I enjoyed doing, where my soul got to come alive, where all of me gets to show up. Now, people who have not experienced that ever, they don't know what that's like. And they think that work is something you avoid. Work is something that you limit. Work is something that you try to get out of. To me, work, what I do is in the same category as sex, as vacation, as romance, as pleasure, because that's what it feels like to me. It's like it's orgasmic, it's pleasureful, it's fulfilling. Now, there might be hard moments of it where I'm expanding my capacity. There might be duality in it, but there's staying power because there's legacy. This is my soul's work. This is what God put me on this planet to do. And sometimes when we go into business containers or take advice from people where it's not their soul's work, where they just need to make quick money, or they just want something that will get them through today or this season of life, that advice is not really going to be the best advice for us. Nothing wrong with that, but not for us. It's not for us. Yeah. What's coming through as you're listening to this, as you're hearing this? If you guys would like to join in the transmission, there is a join button and a link in the chat. There's exclusive content in Million Dollar Babes membership, and you can also participate in the live community transmissions. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. I was in a really long, hard, expansive, potent, like body of work, deepening my own body of work. And so it was taking a lot of energy, and that just, I graduated, it's complete. And so I'm showing up more powerfully and fully on both of my YouTube channels and in my mentorship containers like Kainaat and my courses and things. By the way, a quick announcement I do want to make is on March 12th, I'm adding a 4-hour coaching intensive to my existing course called Conscious Couture Coach. If you have that, join in. All previous alumni are welcome to join in. If you don't, now would be a great time to join in. We're going to be talking about deepening your coaching and mentorship skills. And the stuff I'm about to share in there will just blow your mind on just how to get your clients the rapid transformations that they came to you for. A client of mine, a lawyer who came to me for therapy after a failed relationship, asked me for business coaching. Beautiful. Beautiful. He noticed that he did so much better with his clients when he attended business meetings straight out of my therapy sessions. That's how I branched into one-on-one business mindset coaching. Beautiful. Because we need different flavors of that, right? Like for the people like us, where this is our soul's work, we're spiritual entrepreneurs, we don't want to take shortcuts. We don't want to batch produce 60 days of content. We don't want to work as less as possible. We want to be alive inside our work. Beautiful. I didn't have to try to to advertise, because your embodiment is your ad. That's why I've never had to place ads, did 8 figures without it. I might at some point feel no need for it, have no need for it, like in my business, because your embodiment will be your advertisement. That's the frequency that you're broadcasting. That's what people can see. That's what they can tap into. Beautiful. I'm so happy. And I like pouring into people that are creating soul-driven businesses, because we're the ones that are really like creating art. We've got that mastery. We're in it for the long haul. This isn't a fast like money thing for us, right? Like we're here until the end. We have longevity. This is legacy. Our children get to inherit this. Our grandchildren get to inherit this. We're playing the long game. Anything else coming up for you guys as I let you guys go? I would love to have you. I've got different bodies of work. My 99 Realm membership is a portal where you get a course a month for spiritual driven, soul-led entrepreneurs like ourselves, feminine women that are driven, ambitious, high achieving, high performance. If you get the annual pass, all courses are unlocked. There's 10 in there now. On March 7th, I'm doing a new one called Courage. And then in April, I'm doing a new one called Power. And that will complete the 12 curriculum portal in there. And then, of course, there's Kainaat, which is my highest mentorship package right now with me. Yeah, it's not trendy for us, exactly. If you're new to my work, I have some resources for you. I have my Frequency of Certainty Masterclass, which is $22 cover charge. That will give you kind of an entry level into my work and see if we're a good match. And I also have my speed course, which is coming up this month. High velocity, speed, momentum, where impatient becomes your superpower. All right, gorgeous. That is my transmission for today. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Also, let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay, future riffs. I'll be back tomorrow. I love you guys so much. See you in the next one. Bye.